3 weeks ago, I downloaded one of the world's most addictive substances, Football Manager. And it got me thinking, can I improve the way that Football Manager works and looks in just 3 days?
Football Manager is one of the world's favourite games, giving football fans a real-life experience of what it would be like to check your emails if you were a manager in the beautiful game.
Oh, we've had a shot, an actual shot in real life.
As a lifelong fan of this addictive game, its poor design has always annoyed me. So I wanted to challenge myself creatively, flex my design muscles and put my money where my mouth is, instead of just moaning about it like I normally do.
Oh God. Is it good?
The challenge Football Manager has is one of information. There's absolutely loads of it. In some cases it divides using strong colours, and in others it attempts to be more subtle. Its biggest issue though is the fact it shows you everything at once. The problem with that is that not all of the information is equally important. Matchday is all just a bit drab. The graphics engine is unrealistic, and visually the data is continuing down a sort of 1990s grey and orange theme. So this design challenge will be about taking 3 of these screens, creating a clear hierarchy of information, and making a brand that feels more confident. But can that be done in just 3 days?
I think I might have bitten off a little bit more than I can chew. To be honest, it wouldn't be fun if I bit off something chewable, would it? That's not entertaining for you, and it's not entertaining for me. Anyway, I'm going to stop waffling, and we're going to watch me do the challenge, basically. We're going to watch that. God, why am I not on the One Show? I could be on the One Show. I think I'm good at this.
UX, or User Experience Design for long, is essentially creating the blueprints to make a website, app or game intuitive and easy to use. I began the challenge by tracing over the original screens and building up a library of incredibly drab assets. I'd later restyle these to make them look sexy. It's quite a dull step, but an important one.
You look like the upside down smiley face emoji. So it's day 2, and today is about styling the building blocks I've created. Now I'm going to look at how sports brands build up their identity. All of that kind of sporty stuff, to see if we can create a Football Manager visual that still feels in that world rather than just data. Because at the moment it feels very much like, here's some data from the 90s. So that's what we're aiming for, that's what we're going for. And I'm excited about today because this is the bit where we actually start to make it look like how it could look.
I began by making a very quick brand, which inevitably, the more I worked on it, changed quite a bit. As I started work on the player data screen, I got a feel for how some of the key elements could look. I started with a relatively light theme, but having worked with the data for a bit, I realised darker was definitely the way to go. It just felt a little bit easier on my eyes.
So I was looking at the regen images, and nothing takes me out of an experience more than the sort of rugratty cartoon regen and how they look on Football Manager. It just makes it feel so unreal. And I thought, wouldn't it be amazing if Football Manager, in a sort of parallel universe, Football Manager and ChatGPT got together and for every regen generated a realistic image of the player. So I did that, and I've popped it in, and it's getting really exciting because I've sort of put a face to a player that I really love in my Stevenage load, and he's wonderful. And it looks great. He looks just like how I would imagine him looking, and it's just immediately brought realism back into the game. And I think after about 5 or 6 seasons, you start to lose realism because all of the players are essentially made up by that point. But if we can bring in real imagery, how cool would that be? So I was looking at the matchday experience, and I love, and have done for pretty much as long as I can remember, I have loved watching the scores tick in on Soccer Saturday on Sky Sports News. So I really love video printers. I also love the way scores and league tables look. I always have. And I feel like the Football Manager experience is so based on the touchline, which is so hard to replicate. And I don't think it really does the job. I don't think it makes you feel like you're on a touchline. And I don't think that's really possible, if I'm honest. So I thought, what would immerse me as a football fan more. In the same way that FIFA sort of replicates broadcast television, I thought, well, why not make my matchday experience reference Soccer Saturday?
Matchday is very much the centrepiece of this project. It's the thing that got me thinking about doing this project in the first place. This is the bit I want Football Manager to steal from me the most. So, if you're watching Mr. or Mrs. Football Manager, please nick this idea and give me a credit, or a lot of money. Thank you. The latter is preferable.
So the only other thing that really takes me out of the immersion of football in Football Manager is the graphics engine. I think it's so bad. And I know they keep trying to improve it, and I know there must be a whole host of complications as to why it can't be as good as FIFA. However, I thought this is the dream Football Manager. I'm creating the dream Football Manager. So I've just got a friend who has the latest FIFA. I don't currently have that. He's going to screen record FIFA, and I'm going to just plug that in. And then it will look really cool. My aim, hopefully by the end of the day, so today is very much going to be finishing off the flats, and then this evening I want to start animating it and bring this all to life. And then I can do the big reveal.
So as time started ticking, I began flying through the final few screens, including the tactics screen and a couple of surprises I'll leave for the reveal. Wink emoji. I should just say the reveal is the reveal of the screen. I'm not just going to get naked.
You're not allowed up here. Oh, I want to be a part of this. Come on. We're done. Bye-bye. Not interested.
Let's begin at the inbox with my first idea. Kit reveals are one of the most exciting parts about being a football fan. So, I'd like to give you, the manager, a say on what kit you'll have at the start of the season. The board will give you a selection from the kit designer, and you can add your opinion. You may get overruled, but it's nice to have a say, isn't it? I've also reworked the press conference experience. Complete with made-up journalists that look real thanks to AI, and the ability to type your responses in, this brings a bit more jeopardy into what you're saying, rather than just boshing through some of the same responses every single match. The tactics screen has had a more cosmetic upgrade. As expert users, we know where everything is, and there's nothing more frustrating when things move. There's also some nostalgia about the way all of this looks. Some of this hasn't changed since the dawn of time, and that's alright. You can expand team instructions and navigate these how you would have done before, but just with a bit more elegance. You're also able to stack the information if you want to access the team instructions every single time you visit the tactics screen. It's about making the information work for you and prioritising, rather than seeing everything at once. The player screen adopts a similar system, giving the user the ability to scroll through the information and rearrange. The player stats have a slightly different grouping of information, and is designed to make it easier to see key stats, with the introduction of whether an individual training focus is actually helping. Age, height, weight, and which foot they use are also given more prominence and are easier to find. And of course, you can change to a stacked view for a simpler flow of information. And if it's all just a bit too dark, you can switch to light mode. Matchday is geared around the Vida printer and the league table, which of course could be swapped out for later scores and stats. The Vida printer can be replaced with commentary or dugout information, and both panels can be hidden for a wider screen experience. When we're waiting for more action, we have a more stylish dashboard of customisable information. And finally, the iconic goal flash has been maintained, modernised and combined with some more contemporary broadcast graphics. This challenge was about removing all the usual rules that graphic designers have to adhere to within a brief, to try and be creative again. A time limit sort of makes you run with an idea earlier and trust your creative process. So if you're a creative, I really recommend trying something like this. It can really reignite a bit of a fire. And I certainly can't wait till the next one. So Football Manager, please don't leave us another year without a game. And do feel free to nick some of these ideas. But again, send money. Send money. If you know of a hideous interface or want to work with me, you can find more information at josephparsons.co.uk or you can comment below. And do feel free to watch this relevant video.